Hello and welcome to another episode of Challenging Conspiracies. I'm Crafty Keela. Today's video will focus on the accusation that we have a corrupt educational system and the issue of echo chambers that reinforces bias. This series is a sociological look at how and why conspiracy theorists put forward their arguments. This is an important component in understanding why their ideas sometimes stick. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell to receive updates on my latest videos. The next charge that is often spouted by conspiracy theorists is that we have a corrupt educational system, and this reinforces the lies of the mainstream ideology. This is a very important claim that deserves a little bit more attention. The accusation is thrown out at educators that they are lying to our children in order to soak up taxpayer money. This seems to be the only reason given by globe deniers. Over the centuries, passed knowledge on verbally and through everyday practical rituals. In the modern era, the consensus, at least in the Western world, is some sort of public school system. Children spend approximately 13% of their life in school during the ages of 4 and 18. This video will attempt to show the importance of social trust when it comes to educators in the public school system. We will then move on to the role of the state within these schools before turning our attention on the impact technology is having on our appreciation and attitudes on educators. Lastly, we will explore the idea of echo chambers and how conspiracy theorists use algorithms and legitimate concerns to undermine qualified educators and reinforce their own biases. Teachers have significant power in our society. They have the ability to push a child to great heights or tear them down to the lowest lows. Both are known to happen. But when it comes to our educators, we place a great deal of faith that they will always strive to inspire their students regardless of circumstances. Any society that wants an orderly transition for young people into adulthood tends to place a large emphasis on education. Conspiracy theorists will often accuse the masses of having blind faith in the teaching profession. Trust to them is a dirty word, and anyone that is not psychologically scarred enough when it comes to trusting our education system in some form is deserving of ridicule. This comes from a very negative outlook on the world around us. They cannot accept that anyone in a position of power has the ability to tell the truth. Teachers put an extraordinary and often lengthy effort into earning what we call social trust. Going through an often expensive 4 to 6 year training process, most teachers receive barely more than the average industrial wage for up to 60 hours of work a week. Some educators go beyond that still, buying supplies, outside hour tutoring, and reacting to socioeconomic issues impacting their students. These individuals have spent years concentrating on gaining social knowledge and then learning techniques on how to communicate this knowledge effectively to the next generation. Think of knowledge like a pyramid. With each generation, we add our own discoveries in layers to our pyramid. As each section of society contributes to what's known as social knowledge, society is raised up to the next level of development. In order to continue to build society up, you must have a degree of social trust in the previous layers and replace the layers that are structurally questionable. If you cannot trust that the building blocks are firm, you end up building sandcastles by the sea in low tide. Most schools are run and controlled by government bodies of education, alongside voluntary governors or boards. These are not shadowy organisations. They are mostly elected mixtures of parents, teachers, and individuals or groups within society with a vested interest in child welfare. You can research who is on the board of your local school, as this is public knowledge in most of the Western world. The reason we leave our children in the hands of these individuals is for 2 reasons. First, socioeconomic. Parents need to work in order to provide for their children. The public school system allows for parents to work while creating safe, structured routines for children and young people to grow into functioning adults. 2 is social. Human beings are social, creative, and curious. The public school system allows for social growth, which is just as important for our development as academic growth. The Board of Managements agree with the Department of Education on the most important aspects of culture, history, language, and practical skills that the next generation will need to lead well-rounded, well-informed lives. Due to the vast history of society and the amount of time that children can concentrate at any one time, school serves as a snapshot of knowledge. If knowledge is like our pyramid, and the base is tens of thousands of miles wide, you don't have the ability to fit it all into a picture, not even a Nikon P900, if you were standing 5 feet in front of it. Only a snapshot of the different layers will be visible in such a picture. This is the makeup of school curricula. The snapshot is then expanded in third level of education. The quality and emphasis of the curriculum within a given school or country can vary greatly. It is here that the conspiracy theorists have somewhat of a reason to be suspicious. Public funding and resources can dictate the emphasis on how large class sizes are, on how many extracurricular activities there are, and other such discrepancies. But these discrepancies can lead some people to believe that the entire system is biased and therefore it's all lies. However, this is simply nonsense, as a curriculum can be adapted if there is a strong enough case presented. The issue with globe deniers is that they have no case. This leads me to my final point on the education system, and that is reputation when it comes to knowledge. The invention of the internet has created an illusion of knowledge. Due to the vast scale of information available, it is often difficult to separate the truth from the lies. We place social trust in our educators because, like with scientists, they have proven their commitment to the development of society. However, with the invention of Professor Google, more and more people feel that they are better placed to interpret and explain the world around us without formal training. These individuals scoff at the time, energy, and expense that educators put in to develop their abilities. Part of the dismissive attitudes stems from the dominance of individualism, as has been spoken about before. The idea of individualism becomes essential when understanding the lack of appreciation to those who spend their entire lives taking care of other people's children. The rise of individualism was a victory for the current model of capitalism we are experiencing for the last 40 years. This is the idea that competition and monetary gain will raise you up the ladder and bring you happiness. Interpersonal relationships became secondary, even discouraged, under the system if it conflicted with personal achievements. Most leading conspiracy theorists today have known nothing but society under this model. And as the first video in this series explained, a lot of people felt let down by this model of capitalism. Again, the conflation with mistrust for what was seen as corruption in the political and banking systems are extended to every collective structure. The anger and hurt that conspiracy theorists have towards the system is misdirected at professionals that we put a healthy amount of social trust in. This is mainly because it's easier to blame those on your level than it is to blame those on levels above. The dependence of this generation on social media has made it easier to spread any given message. Conspiracy theorists use this medium to undermine the education system. However, my challenge to conspiracy theorists would be to present a model of education that is better than what we have. Screaming from the sidelines is a very easy thing to do, but what is your alternative? If we take the example of globe deniers, some believe in a flat earth model, others don't prescribe to that model. Some believe gravity exists, others believe that it doesn't. Some believe in creationism while others believe in evolution. Some are convinced that dinosaurs are fiction, while others say that they came from the earth on a meteor. Some believe that vaccinations are toxic while suggesting a form of vaccination with different language. There is no solid method of collecting, storing, or disseminating knowledge when it comes to globe deniers. They believe that the governments of the world are simply lying about everything, and that technology is harmful and pictures and videos are all doctored. Except, of course, their pictures and their videos. This is where conspiracy theorists go from being ridiculous to being dangerous. The main means of communication by conspiracy theorists is through books, using pseudoscience and half-truths, and YouTube videos where they don't even attempt to back up their unfounded claims. The more articulate of these proponents will scream down, mute, or simply ignore any real science that is placed in front of them. Even the ones who debunk themselves,
a 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Thanks, Bob, will still continue to manipulate vulnerable minds. Perhaps when they started out, they genuinely believed that there was truth to their claims. And perhaps they really did want a debate. But now they filter their videos by deleting comments, answering with long, complicated words and carefully controlled debates, like this.
I'm going to kick you out if you don't attack my rebuttal. I'm sick of straw men.
Say it's what's more likely? Either you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Bye-bye. That's Brenda's time over.
And this is part of the appeal. Someone willing to yell and bully. There are people who are genuinely attracted to the boot boy attitude. Others were brought to Flat Earth via YouTube recommendations. 2015 and 2016 saw a lot of content of Flat Earth before the 2018 Flat Earth Conference. Before this point, however, there were no searches for Flat Earth. It wasn't until 2019 that YouTube stopped promoting videos of Flat Earth. Globe deniers then switched to very lengthy live streams to get their viewer hours up so that they could become monetized. This is the same algorithms used by most social media platforms and explains how all of a sudden we went from no flat earthers to multiple channels appearing almost overnight. When you have to scream your answers at your guests, it is because you either do not have an argument or you do not believe in your argument. This is the only explanation as to why someone else's opinion would be considered a threat. In a civilized society, respect goes to where it's earned. In a society of entitlement, there is nothing that is worthy of respect. So to recap, we as a society do put an incredible amount of faith in our educators. This is faith that is hard earned. Under the public school systems, we have found an effective, efficient way of passing on the multiple layers of knowledge to the next generation. These school systems are not perfect, but they are controlled and developed by national governments alongside teachers, parents, and other groups in society. The curricula within the public school system isn't a dogmatic tool. They are changing with our understanding of the world and of human nature. Though there are real genuine reasons to criticize the public school system, conspiracy theorists have absolutely no genuine alternative to put forward. They are as divided in their beliefs, so much so that they find it easier to shout on YouTube rather than to present a solid alternative model to be taught in our schools. Due to these conflictions, conspiracy theorists often resort to bullying, emotional manipulation, and cynicism to plant doubt in people's mind about the current system and those who engage in it. They argue instead of discuss because they feel threatened by people who genuinely understand how the world works. Challenging the system when you feel it is failing young people is an important conversation that is ongoing in our world. However, if we are to live in close proximity as a civilized society, a healthy level of social trust is important to maintain. Next time we will look more in depth at the language that has been touched upon in this video. we will look at the apparent messiah complex that is presented by conspiracy theorists in order to gain and keep their supporters. Until then, please like and subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell for updates as soon as they are released.